Ladies and gentlemen, we made one of the best knives in the world according to our opinion. DBK knife, and we spent years developing that knife. And we received the ultimate acknowledgement in the knife world, and that is that it has been cloned by the Chinese. And basically that's illegal. But it is also an honor for us to see that criminals are at work with our knives. And I'm now going to see it for the first time. I've never seen it before.
We bought it on AliExpress. We bought this on AliExpress.
Oh man.
Okay, Mikkie.
Oh man, Martin. Oh no. This is literally our knife that they have tried to make.
Look at that edge, Mikkie.
Oh
Mikkie,
my God.
Look at it. It has a convex.
You know what, Martin?
It has a convex. It doesn't have a great convex, but they even went as far as trying to put a convex on it.
Oh my lord! I mean,
that is the first AliExpress knife I've ever seen that has a convex.
Now let's see how bad it actually is, and if it even is bad. Like maybe we are the scammers. Can you understand that, Martin? Okay, first of all, how sharp does it come? Okay, so this device measures how much force it takes to cut that wire. Oh yeah, it is good sharp. It's good and sharp.
And now the factory sharpness of our DBK knife. And our factory DBK knife. Boom!
Whoa, 67! That is just brutally sharp.
Yeah.
That is way sharper than we had them in the beginning, I can tell you that. I have to say, like, the Chinese one is not bad. But that's the whole point of these Chinese scam knives, is that they have found a way to make all these knives crazy sharp. But last week we made a video showing you that even though it does measure a good sharpness on that scale, it doesn't necessarily cut paper that well. And
Chinese knife?
The Chinese knife cuts paper well, and does it shave well? So that shaves really well.
Mostly it's not even the build quality that is shit, it's just the steel and heat treatment that's shit.
Yeah, I would say that these knives almost have no heat treatment at all. They seem to be really, really soft, but because this one, they managed to put a slight convex on there, I don't know how bad it is actually gonna perform. So let's just start with normal batoning. Why am I, by the way, testing the video? You are Martin the hard tester.
I'm a little bit
sick.
sick. I'm a little bit sick.
This segment is sponsored by KnifeEnthusiast.com, a site where you can sell your knives. And if you sign up right now, you automatically participate in a great giveaway to win one of these 3 knives. The requirements are very easy. Sign up as a seller, list at least 2 items for sale, and Bob's your uncle. Go to KnifeEnthusiast.com and do it. Please.
Hey guys, I'm a little bit sick, but I'm trying to be happy. Okay. Let's see how it batons. The handle holds great because they cloned it. I wonder, is this slightly shorter than our normal? I have the OG that I'm using. Yeah, look! I noticed that while batoning, immediately it's a little bit shorter. Do you see that?
Yeah.
And I made it longer because my girlfriend already told me, like, if I could just have another inch. So it definitely struggles a lot more in splitting wood than the original DBK knife. And it mainly because, I don't know, I also feel a hot spot. It's a secondary convex instead of a real convex. I don't know, it's just less easily said, huh? when it's the clone of your own knife that you used to make money.
Yeah. Even though we're probably not selling it anymore again in our lifetime. So are we taking it one step beyond?
Yeah, in the original video we batoned a piece like this with the original DBK knife. Now we're gonna do it then with the clone.
Yeah, but shall we just first start with doing feather sticks instead of like breaking it instantly?
Yeah, let's go.
So Mr. Unbiased, what does your feeling say?
My feeling says it's a lot worse than the DBK knife, but I think it's the best feather sticker of all clones that we tested ever. This is my DBK knife. Let's see how that does. And you can judge yourself from what you see on video.
So what would you rate these 2 knives at this point, at this moment?
Yeah, like so, the one I also already sharpened this myself, but this one is like, for me, it's like a 9. Like the DBK knife is one of the best feather stickers. You can compare it with something like Falcon Even, also amazing feather stickers. This one, it's good, it's a 7.
Which is stupidly good for a bloody clone.
Yeah, maybe it's even a 7.5, I'm gonna be honest.
But can it still cut paper after making that one feather stick?
That is the big question, because these clones, the thing that they often just save money on, steel, heat treatment, stuff like that, because most people don't really know a lot about this. Oh, edge problem.
Like, is there an actual edge problem?
Yeah, there's like, there are like reflections on this spot already. Let me see if I can show that on paper. Yeah, you can hear it. So that's only after one feather stick. You know, I want to see what happens after I cut one piece of rope. Because that is where these knives show their true colors. So we're gonna do this in an honest way. I'm gonna cut this paper, cut this rope, cut this paper again without any cuts in the edit. So you can show the facts. You can see the facts. Very sharp. Okay, not bad, not bad. Actually, it's not bad. Like, it's way different than a DBK knife, but it's better than I expected.
Yeah, yeah. Cut 2.
Oh yeah, now I can already feel that it is dulled quite a bit. Yeah. So 2 cuts.
And the edge is now basically completely gone.
Yeah, it's... Yeah.
Clean leather.
You gotta love Elmex, Mikkie.
Yeah. I feel... Hello. So the fake DBK knife and the real DBK knife. Like, it's always a little bit difficult to see why a knife is good or bad, because it all comes down to geometry, to finish, to quality of steel. But knowing the quality of a steel is pretty difficult because it's invisible. You have to see it and prove it by trial and error. And of course this knife, yeah, it can do basic carving tasks, because it is essentially a sharpened piece of steel. You could do this with a file. Oh, wait.
Oh, comparison.
Wait. Well, I actually wanted to prove that, like, this knife could also be good at carving, but it sucks at carving. For carving, the clone knife, I can't give it more than a 5 out of 10. Whereas the DBK knife, I'm gonna give an 8 out of 10. Because yeah, a convex still is not as good as a Scandi grind, obviously.
Hey, and you still have to do the fine tasks, like carving the notch.
Yeah. But can the clone keep up? So Martin is ordering me to make a notch in this. Well,
look, I want to see like the fine detail work.
So this is so nice. This is so. To say. No, this is
because the
terrible.
secondary convex is way worse than as like a shallow convex that the DBK knife has.
Yeah. Funny enough, like, this is the first time I've seen a Chinese clone with a convex edge. And even though I'm pretty surprised at how convex it actually is, I'm also surprised at how badly it sucks at carving. And that is, I mean, look at this. Yeah, I'm not purposely trying to ruin it, but if I just grab the normal DBK knife, I can just carve away the wood.
Yeah, because the apex is not as fat as on the Chinese version. And this is only, you can only do this with a proper heat treatment, because our edge is way shallower than on the Chinese version.
Yeah, and I mean, look at that. Now, after about 15 seconds, you already have a notch. I mean, look at that difference between what is capable with a DBK knife and with a knife with just a crap Chinese clone convex.
In the original DBK video, we were literally shitting our pants doing this.
Whoa.
What?
Entire edge from here to there is completely blunt with the right lighting.
Oh yeah.
Can you see it?
Yeah, hot damn. That's and I mean the apex is pretty thick. Like,
wow, that is really bad. Oh, yeah, there's no cutting at all possible with that tip anymore. No, just completely rounded off. So what usually happens with clone knives is that they make them of very soft steel, like in this case they also did, because it dulls very fast. What it also causes is the knife to be, or at least seem, pretty sturdy.
Yeah.
Because it is soft, so the knife will bend, but it won't break. But you need that breakability to be just right on that limit of a knife not breaking to make the knife stay sharp as long as possible.
yeah, it's
And
always
otherwise-
like a balance between toughness and edge retention. And,
Yeah.
and these clones go all the way to toughness, no edge retention.
Yeah.
And then they often fail because heat treatment problems.
Is it bent at all? If I do like a tip test with it? Yeah. Yeah, the edge is bending. And that is something I do not want to see with a tip test. Because that means, especially with a tip this thick, if the edge bends, that is a really bad sign of very, very, very soft steel.
Oh my god. That's not straight. Oh, it's
You
actually really bad.
Yeah, it's really bad. You don't want a knife to like this bending, because that means it's really soft. Oh no, Martin's gonna try something nerve-wracking.
Because everybody's gonna say, well, oh, but you don't dare do that with your own knife. So this is the DBK knife.
Oh
Elmex.
man, and it is his own knife. No, Martin. I don't want you to do this. I just do not want you to do this. Yeah, I mean that is as fair as you can get.
And look, that edge, unbroken, unbent.
Can we get that in? Yeah, and it is a thinner edge.
It's a thinner edge.
Steel, thinner edge.
So also just baton a little bit with it, like in this piece.
Godverdomme.
Because I
Oh,
believe
no.
like this convex is just way easier to get into this wood.
Jeez!
Boom!
That's the DBK knife!
Elmex.
That is the DBK knife!
Not the toughest steel in the world, but with a good heat treatment, you get a crazy long way.
The clone. See, it can split, and that is pretty special actually. That it can suffer this much abuse.
You know, I got an opinion on this knife. But Mikkie, there's one more thing.
So now, where all the tests come together, yeah? I'm gonna cut 2 pieces of rope, even though this knife has been used for the past 2 years without being sharpened by Martin, yeah? Yep.
A little bit of sharpening. I cannot say that I haven't sharpened it in 2 years.
And when was the last time you sharpened this?
Maybe 2 months ago. Look at those feathers, man.
Still makes very nice feathers.
You can already tell that these feather sticks are a lot rougher now.
Yeah, because if you look at these feather sticks, if you look closely, if a knife gets dull, the feathers become segments instead of like a round little feather. So and now it reached its absolute limit, because now even with the feather sticking, it became duller. And now it's just at the point that it cannot really actually make a good feather stick anymore. Do you see that, Martin?
Yeah.
Only problem is, it cannot scrape a fire steel at all. They just rounded off the knife and it cannot do anything anymore. So how am I now going to light it? I have to use the edge.
Never use that, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, it is possible, but this is not pretty.
Oh, that is terrible.
Yeah, that is terrible.
You know, there's one thing that I could tell is that they put a lot of effort into making this clone.
Martin, your hair is like Einstein.
So they did actually do a little bit of skeletonizing to get the balance, but we're gonna go to the conclusion and we're gonna say why this is still a bad knife.
Yeah.
The DBK knife clone from China, from AliExpress. Whoa, it's not great. You know what is great? Our giveaway, and that's last week. You can participate in it. Merk hit it. We are giving away a bloody Volknieven modern Bowie, thanks to DBK.
Oh my God!
A Volknieven R2 thanks to DBK. A half-breed LBK Generation 2 and K340 half-breed blades. The top 3.5 thanks to Blade HQ. 2 times thanks to Crucial Gents. 2 times Ranger Cup thanks to Batoning. 2 times a Whip Armor expandable thanks to Whip Armor. A Meta Fever and an EDC Little 100 thanks to Massive Fever. That is like a whole knife collection that we're giving away.
I want to begin with saying that we don't make money with the DBK knife anymore because we can't make them anymore because TRC is not making them anymore. So we're not sure if we will ever sell these knives again, and we're very sad about that because these are our most prestige items ever made.
Yeah, Mikkie, it's the knife that is. I just said this off camera to Mikkie, but I'm so proud that I can genuinely call this my favorite knife.
Yeah, we can act jokingly about it, but it is a scam. It is a scam. Criminal activity. They basically copied one of an existing product.
Yeah, I am proud to say though that this is one of the better clones that we ever tried, and that is so they really put effort into cloning the DBK knife and making it a good knife.
We once came to the conclusion that geometry is one of the most important things in a knife.
What does a knife do, Mikkie? It cuts. It needs geometry to cut and it needs to stay sharp to cut. Both things, this knife kind of fills in. What this knife is pretty good at, being a crowbar.
Second of all, you might say design. Well, they just copied our design basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have to say the finish, the refined stuff is not as good.
It is not as good. It's like 10 times worse. Like this is a cheaply finished knife that they added some touches to make it look like it's refined.
One of the very number one most important things after geometry is edge retention, the steel. And this steel of this knife, it may look good, but it is but it is still $60 for a steel that is way worse than any of the cheapest moron knives out there. And those knives are $10. I find it pretty disheartening that these knives are becoming better and better and better because this is not only like a pretty okay knife for a scam knife. This is like one of the best scam knives we've ever tested.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. Please don't buy this knife and don't support scammers. Thank you very much for watching. See you next week, 1 p.m. PDT. Bye.
I'll think about it. I'll think about it if I was still. No, it's fine. I really hate it, but it's fine.